Hello, I'm Michael Palmer, host of the Successful Bookkeeper podcast, and we are celebrating National Bookkeeping Week in Canada. Our guest is Anthony Chan. He is the co-founder of Venturi Engineering Solutions. Thank you for being here.
No, thanks, Michael, for having me. This is a new thing for me to get into, but I'm excited.
Well, we're excited to have you. And we believe your perspective as an entrepreneur is very important on the bookkeeper's role for small businesses, and would love to get into a few questions. And so the first one really is, what was your first experience with a bookkeeper?
Ooh, see, I was probably, I say about a year and a half, 2 years into the business. So, Venturi, we started back in 2015. So my first experience really with a professional bookkeeper was around the time when, about 2 years into the business. I say we're about 8 employees or so. We've been growing organically. We're based out of Edmonton, Alberta. I mean, growing organically downtown there. And I remember at one point when I was looking at my hours and the amount of time I'd be doing invoicing, looking at expenses, and so many of those things that are really important and pivotal to the business, but I just couldn't find as much passion, as I do for some of these other parts of the business that I love to do, which is more on the sales, more on people and culture and things like that. That I asked some friends for some recommendations and started calling around and said, hey, can you help me out here with this, doing these month-to-month expenses and invoices and slowly getting into payroll. So, and that has been, I say, a pivotal part for me to establish all the other fundamental things that are important in the company, so we can all function better as a team, and also to kind of declutter my mind and also de-stress at the point of every month, kind of dreading that cycle. That's kind of in a nutshell. It's like, how did I get started? Yeah, I think it's recognizing that I need some help there, and so I can perform at a higher level on things that I want to do.
Nice. And what impact did they have when they came into the business? Obviously important for, as you said, and we hear that often, is you've got things that are important for you to be doing. Your business needs you for those things. So, but you're doing these other things that you don't have quite as much passion for. When you had them come in, what was that impact?
I think the impact is, I say, it's not immediate, because there's definitely like that learning curve, trying to understand. I mean, every business is unique. There's some nuances to the things that we work. I said, but fortunately, like I was already on the cloud systems. We were using like QuickBooks Online, so we did have a process. I did have some discipline and regiment in updating that system and transferring control essentially, and also slowly over time to a bookkeeper that was familiar with that platform was relatively quick. So I think it took about a month really to transition that and really give the keys to somebody else to take control. So I think it was fortunate for us that it was fast, but I can understand other businesses that have other processes may not be as quick. I think for us it's just been, hey, you know what, we're set up here. Here's the keys. I've got a month. Feel free to ask me any questions you would like, and then and before I knew it, they already had better ways of doing bookkeeping and doing these invoices and expenses for us that I was just like, wow, okay, I'm glad I called them up. Yeah, better to trust the professionals than myself on trying to mess it up over time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so how do you feel about the importance of bookkeepers for entrepreneurs? How essential are they to the work that you do?
I think that really depends on where they are. I believe kind of in their entrepreneurial journey. I imagine, say, if you're like a sole proprietor, you don't have too much going on. I mean, it's essential that you kind of have to know, as any kind of business owner, like you got to know what how to do it yourself, like expenses, invoicing. I mean, it's kind of, you got to learn the ropes. There may not be as much gains for getting somebody else to do it as well. And I probably wouldn't recommend that off the bat, because as any kind of business owner, you have to know your books. Just do it, understand what it works. Maybe it's your passion, maybe it's not. But I imagine, like, more often than not, entrepreneurs are probably not into like looking at those details. They're into it because they got They have a drive to grow the business, do sales, and do marketing. So many things that are pivotal to a business. So if you're talking to maybe another entrepreneur that are dialed in to that, which I wasn't myself, like there came to be a point where that need to do those other things because like I was like, oh, you were in that role to find the business, to do the sales, do the marketing, and grow processes in a company that the bookkeeping becomes more of I say more of a nuisance because like, oh man, every time in the month you do this again. And it may not be too passionate about it. I need to trust somebody to be able to do these important aspects of the business that that can't not be neglected as well. So I think when you have those higher level, higher priority items potentially, right? That's when a bookkeeper can enable an entrepreneur to really do the things that no one else can do. It's almost a very liberating experience when that happens, and it's almost like magic. It's like, oh, they can do it, but better than you, and recognizing that it's such a good feeling. Then you feel like you have your time and your life back, doing the things that you want to focus on.
Beautiful. I think there's probably a few entrepreneurs out there who would love to experience that magic and have not yet. So lots of opportunity for that. When you were looking, what did you feel the signs were for what made a great bookkeeper?
Wow, I think to be honest, like I was lucky. I didn't have too many like options available. And I wasn't really shopping around too much. To be honest, it came at a recommendation of a friend who's also an entrepreneur, and that friend operates in the same way that I do, and we're very much technology forward. And I knew that being a engineering kind of technology kind of company, being able to decouple almost from paper is almost like a very important aspect to our business. We do engineers, we do drawings, we do simulations, but historically it's all been done on paper. But for my business, we are paperless. So I knew that I wanted to find a bookkeeper that believes in that same way of operating. So when I heard this one bookkeeper that was helping out my friend being completely open to using like a kind of online kind of SaaS platform, initially that was intriguing because I thought that bookkeepers back in the day maybe they like getting a shoebox of like expenses and receipts, but it wasn't the way that I wanted to operate. So having someone aligned with that vision was really important. So that was kind of my requirement when I was kind of looking at a bookkeeper, someone that's like open technology forward, just like we were, and also open to new ideas and to conduct business as well.
Very cool. Very cool. So almost like it's something, if you're looking, you need to find someone who fits who you are and the way you like to operate and fits the cadence of the work that you're doing in your business. Now, this question is about AI. In your opinion, as an entrepreneur, can AI ever replace your human bookkeeper and still be as effective? What do you think?
That's a loaded question. I feel like AI can help out in a lot of ways. Maybe I'll start off with kind of going through a stream of consciousness, kind of like with what AI can do in engineering. And AI can maybe interpret drawings, like one day for engineers. They can look at let's say an isometric drawing and tell you how things connect from point A to point D and kind of break that down for you. But I don't know if an AI can help you make an informed decision about how risky a certain type of operation is or an asset. I mean, that requires a lot of experience, objective kind of thinking, and also information that is not readily available, probably to a computer system, make a very informed decision. I reckon that for bookkeepers, it's probably the same thing. And AI may help you with tools like, okay, maybe getting the receipts and digitizing them, and maybe some of the back end things, like processes that they need to do. But also imagine that there's probably some higher level processes that AI may not be able to replace, especially when it comes to more of the human aspects of the business. So that's what I think.
Very interesting. And I love how you tied it back to engineering.
I just want to comment on another aspect of bookkeepers that we might not have touched on is the importance of their connections as well. As an entrepreneur and growing their business, you're always trying to find people that that you want to work with, they kind of resonate with you. And sometimes like you might not have your full network established, as a new entrepreneur. So I find that, based on my experience with my bookkeeper, they were much more experienced. They were much, in the industry much longer than I was. So they're able to recommend, say, oh, okay, I know someone that does IT. Hey, I know someone that does actually tax, filing. Hey, this person from insurance, he or she's really good. Having that almost like this network that you can rely on, I think it was huge and pivotal for us to be able to find the right people to grow the business and have that trust that they can provide you, and also that and a service that you can rely on so that you can do your best and you don't have to kind of second guess as to can your partner support you while your business is also growing. That was one of those kind of side bonuses that we got from our bookkeeper that we really value and appreciate.
Beautiful. That was very nice. Love having that angle on it. And it brings up another question of how often do you actually talk to your bookkeeper?
I feel like I say I really trust them like a kind of an extension of my team. Like it's not like us and them. Like I treat them like a almost like a subcontractor, almost like that works closely with the organization, a trusted partner. I look at it that way. We share ideas, especially with the technology forward, bookkeeper, like what we have, we just bounce ideas just between business to business. So, oh, okay, well, I've done this. I have an HRM platform, human resource management platform. Like, I thought that was really good. Like, have you given this a shot yet? That's like kind of one of those things. And she may come back and say, hey, are you using this sales management platform? Like, we've been doing here, and it's been successful. Maybe you should give it a shot. And so, like these interactions, it happens kind of beyond just bookkeeping. And I feel like more often than not, we've been talking about this almost like bi-weekly, almost every month. Every time we kind of get together, we kind of discuss these things. That was kind of interesting because they obviously see the world quite differently from us, but there may be some insights and learnings that we can glean from that. So I think that was a really interesting and fascinating thing that I did not anticipate, from my bookkeeper, being able to help us out in the engineering world.
Beautiful. I love those, both those really resonates with me, and I think will resonate with them as well. We really appreciate you, Anthony, and this has been a fantastic conversation, and I want to thank you for your time.
You're welcome.